As a continuation of the previous video, just how to draw a bent surface or a Pringle shape, let's now take a look at how we can construct intersections between curved and linear or curved surfaces. Think about, for example, two pipes that are welded together. So how can we accurately actually construct it, or a circular knob that is on the body of a handle or a hairdryer? How can we accurately construct or approximate the intersection curve between the knob and the hairdryer body? So here what we see is a 45-45 view. I quickly created this one. It's very easy to do. And on a new layer, here I have to put down this line here, there. Okay, so on a new layer, I will, let's say we put down something like, maybe like this. Okay, very quick. And then in addition, I would like on the ground to be a circle. So let's say the opening should have the size, so I do not eyeball my circle. I create myself first an accurate square, so I can figure then out plus minus kind of like the ellipse I might need. I forgot the midpoints actually, that's important. There, there, there. Okay, let's bring that tool back. Oh, I was actually close. Okay, so this would be my circle. And this circle I would like to draw up and then project kind of like into this arced surface. So again, how do I do this? And this is all a lot easier than it maybe seems up front. So I continue drawing some lines. You see the midpoints I drew out to the box. Then I draw a line straight up, and draw it back over, and let's hope they meet close. Now this back arc is not as good. But what I found now is this point, and I found this point. You see? There. Again. There's my square, the construction plane. Okay. So, back point. Easiest way, because we have to work with this arc that gives us, seen from the side, the height, and this point seen from the top tells us the position, this direction. So from here, from the vanishing point over, go up, go back to the vanishing point, and then from here straight back up, there is my next point. And we can do the same now with the back there, up and over, and from here straight up. There. Okay. So now you could say, hey, there is my opening. It's not actually what I drew, is more a cylinder that is cut from the side this way. But we actually have a cylinder that's cut this way. So this is arced. So the shape will not be exactly the way how it is there. So in that case, what's really important is I really need to find more midpoints. So I will do this with blue. Now, for example, there I just plot out the points I want. Yeah, this looks better. Okay, so the same technique. Now this point I bring over. I bring up till it hits the arc. I go over, and then number 1 and number 2. Let's do, to make it easier with green, the back. Up and over, and then there, Okay, so there's a point, there's a point, there's a point, there's a point. So, and if everything is somewhat correct, this maybe should look like, yeah, something like this. So this is nice and round. But here we have a tip, but then this area arcs. So we need to get this other line. So this is probably actually correct. But as correct something might look inside your drawing, there's nothing wrong with always trying to be a tick more precise and secure. So what I will do, because I honestly right now do not necessarily know if my shape is really accurate, I just create myself in a computer program quickly a reference object just to study. And somebody might say, hey, this is cheating. No, this is not cheating. This is actually smart working, because I don't use this as a trick not to draw it. I simply use this to study what I have to draw. This is a little bit bigger, like this, there, and let's stick it in. And let's take a look. Okay, so this comes up, and there you can see here how this actually gets flat, because I had the feeling in my drawing that this corner here is still too round. It can't be that way. And I was right, actually. So let's do one thing that actually makes it even easier to illustrate. Fill and fill there, and then I would like to cut out the cylinder so I can actually see that cross section. Yeah, perfect. There again, you can see it how kind of funny this looks like. This edge is nearly rather flat, and then there it arcs out. These things are hard to imagine, and honestly, the easiest way is if you use any program, Alias, Rhino, Fusion, Blender, even SketchUp, make yourself those mock-up models and study it, because then when you go back to your drawing, you could say, well, this was a good first idea, but maybe this actually has to be a little bit more pushed, and then it gets over. Yeah, and if we go back, now you see it's getting closer. Okay, nice. So this, for example, I can continue if, let's say, I would like to, instead of drafting a cylinder that goes into the body, but maybe a shape that actually comes out. So there is the line I extended, and there's my top square. You see the square from the bottom I actually project up. Okay, and then there the back line going over. So there's my top square, and what's really going to be very helpful is the left and right edges I need. There, this only can get this far, a little bit tighter. There, a little bit wider. And maybe tick there. And thick outline there. There it goes down, there it goes down. And now, yeah, you can see, whoa, I pressed really hard, so I slipped. There we have now a cylinder that actually sits on an arced surface. And for the advanced students, let's say we would like to sculpt a nice filleted transition between that vertical cylinder and that arced surface. You can see on the bottom I put down a green circle, kind of like as an offset. I actually guessed that one, so I did not use the mirroring. And I guessed this one by everything to the back is a tick smaller, and to the left lower part and right lower part it gets a little bit wider. So, and then you can, for example, see here, there I have a fillet. So how did I find this? So from here I started drawing a line, went up till I hit the arc, and then I go back over, and this is the midpoint. You see here, from this point, if I go straight up, there's also a midpoint. Oh, I'm a little bit off, so there. So you can see that this is the left midpoint of the cylinder, and then this is actually here the midpoint on that arced surface, and then you can decide the height and patch in kind of like that arc. So here we have the same. You see there I drew this line, and then from there went straight up, went over to the vanishing point, a little bit smaller now, so we have to accommodate for shortening. Again, here the line goes up, and there is the other midpoint on the right side, and then we can put in the arc. We also have the same here in the back. Now this line we wouldn't really see as much, but we can still put this in because this point is important. It's another fillet. And we have also something there in the back. Okay, 4 points. Now ideally you want to have maybe some more, but I will just guess the fillet now a little bit by trying to draw an offset shape of that blue line. And again, to here it gets bigger, to there everything gets a little bit smaller. Yeah, and there we have it. And with the mesh lines, you can easily then identify that this is some sort of a transitional surface. Now here in the front, that's going to be a little bit hard because that nearly might be straight down, so maybe more a line there. Guess that would actually look like this. Okay. In the last video, I would like to show you now how we could create maybe a cylindrical shape intersecting another cylindrical shape. And you will see it's pretty much always exactly the same step by step. So here I put down my diagonals, my verticals, and then the horizontals to the vanishing point. So I have a possibility to plot down, hopefully, a somewhat believable ellipse. This is not necessarily a proportional cube. Well, that's fine. Touch, 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 touch. Oh, this is actually good. So put this one down. And let's go here to the back. A little bit smaller, probably. Doesn't have to be rotated. It seems kind of wrong. Yeah, let's see. Maybe this has to be a little bit more there, and there, there. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's keep it for the moment. Out of curiosity, vanishing point to there. See, these lines are tick off. So, little trick. You see, from the diagonals, I project myself lines back onto them, so I see where, in addition, maybe my ellipse has to actually touch, so that the next curve is actually similar to what I have there. So, there it is. This is more what I want to match it. Okay. Zip. Perfect. Learn through mistakes. And also this way you saw how to even it out nicely. Goody. So the midpoint. This is the midpoint edge. Very important for us. And also this is an important edge. And here is our midpoint. And this is actually the contour line. And then we also have there the contour line. Okay. So that's the first body. Now we would like to construct a vertical object on top of it. So we'll do this in blue. And to figure out the correct shape, I will create myself first on the ground plane something. Yeah, this might maybe work out. So before I put in the ellipse, I will do actually a small check. So this line, I will continue to there, and then I will draw this line straight up. So why did I do this? Simple. I can actually now see when I draw this blue line where it touched the red arc, how far actually the circle opening will be on that cylinder. And you see it's kind of tiny. So this blue rectangle is kind of too small. So maybe like this. There, there, there. Let's do a little test again. There. Yep, that's maybe a little bit better. Okay, good. So this way now we can go ahead and then try to get our ellipse in there. But before we do this again, midpoints, they're so important. Because otherwise we can put an ellipse in, but we don't really know if the ellipse actually is correct. And there, this seems to be a good one. Good. So the next steps are actually not very difficult. They're pretty much the same as before. So you will see that once you understand the concept, it is just a repetition in variation. So there are my two main points. And from here I have to draw a line straight up there. And then here in the back, then that's going to be a tough one. So there and there up, because this is actually this overlaps, so this is actually there. So let me number them 1, 2, 3, and 4 so I understand it. Okay. Good. Same steps like before. 4 points are okay. A set of some more is better. So we will do it this way. So now, as you can see here, I have some extra points selected. Let's draw this line up, and then let's bring this one back. So there's this green line. And you see now where this goes up, it touches the green and it touches the green. And there we have additional points. If we bring our blue dots back, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So let's try to do a quick sketch. So the back part, these 2 points I skip because they seem to be pointless. The surface is so or the arc is so minimal there. Putting in that detail doesn't make much sense, but I know that here again first this will be arced, at 2 this will be arced, and at 3 it will be arced this way, and at 1 it will be arced this way. That's correct. And then there we have this motion, this motion, this motion, and this motion. Okay. I always found that putting these lines down before you do something always is a little bit helpful, so you understand kind of like the motion of your hand. So and this actually goes down. So this is, I think, in this case, not the same like the Pringle shape. So this comes up, goes over there, and there. Yeah, I think that's the way how it has to look like. So it comes up. Yeah. This is probably too high, so this goes down a little bit more. Yeah. Let me try to erase a little bit here because there's a tiny detail that's important to understand. So we draw the line till there, and then it has to go down, but at the same time, so when I say down, it has to follow this arc, but also go to the 1. So there will probably be a small arc. That's not 100% correct. This is probably... let's erase some of those. I messed up some of these lines a little bit. Coming over there. And then this goes down and goes back. So properly like this. Okay, so did I imagine this correctly or was I wrong? So let's again do a small study. So there's my object, rotate, bring it down, scale, make it a little bit wider, and we look at it from there, kind of like this. Okay. And then this object, I would like to cut this part out. Whoops. Yeah. See, I was right. This comes down very flat, and then here in the back, it actually arcs over. So when you see it from the top, you see this shape. And when we go down, you see again, and there you get this unlimited arc. So be careful about how this actually can change. So this was quite helpful to understand that I was actually indeed on the right path here. So there we are. Maybe this is actually indeed a little bit too more flatter. So, and then if we want to continue this part, then we can put up the lines for our cylinder there, and let's plug back in this plot tool there. There's the corner, so there and there. And going up there and there. So there's my rectangle onto which we can place the ellipse. I also have these corner points. That's good. It's essentially there and there. Scale this one down, scale it as wide as needed, a little bit flatter. This is going to be a very flat ellipse. Let's go over to red. There. Okay, maybe one down, and this should be, yeah, this is the midline, that's correct. There's the midline, and this is the contour line. So this contour line here stops actually there. This this line goes a little bit back. It has to be behind there. So there we actually have now the intersection. So did I make a mistake? No, there's this point. Yes, of course I made a mistake here, this line. So the green one, I should actually not taking the silly shortcut. I'm such a genius, so that explains actually why I was so confused. I'm glad I made this mistake, because before I said it doesn't really make sense to draw these extra points, and basically that laziness later came back and told me, I still would like you to draw me. So from there, there, and there. So it actually comes over, goes to there, and then there's actually such a tiny arc you hardly even can see it. Yeah, that's much better. Now this actually looks the way how it should look. So yeah. Let's rotate the tablet. There. Okay, perfect. See? One of the reasons why I say very often in class, don't necessarily trust your assumption or what you think how something looks like. If you don't draw these shapes a lot, you will forget it. So it's always good to double check, do a proper construction drawing for it, and as I showed you, make use either from paper models or computer models to study how intersections should look like, because everything I do with this is observing. That's the reason why we go into live drawing and have a model we draw. We're not going for live drawing into a room with nobody in the center and just imagine the person. We have a reference. So why not do the same for product sketching? Because at the end we have to memorize this. So at one point we know how the stuff has to look, and then without the use of 3 previews can sketch the stuff out of our memory.